Hi all Inderes TV viewers. We got a request from our community to make an updated video on the subject of our CEO Mikael Rautanen's stock portfolio, and we of course wanted to make this happen, and we have Mikael here today to talk with us. Welcome, Mikael.
Thank you, Sana.
So before we deep dive into your stock portfolio, could you update us a little bit on what kind of an investor you are today and what is your investing strategy?
Yeah. First, to begin with a disclaimer, so don't take this as an investment advice. Consider this as one way of investing, which suits me. This is my way of doing things. Since I quit my job as an analyst 2 years ago, obviously I have become a bit more passive. Most of my energy goes to and thinking goes to developing this company as the CEO. So I don't have that much bandwidth and capacity in my brain to discover new stock picks and so on. But I've done investing for like 2 decades now, and the underlying philosophy remains the same. So I try to build the foundation of the portfolio from strong, value-creating, high-quality, long-term companies, so that if I just hold them, I can sleep my nights really well, knowing that these companies are good long-term, even though their share prices might fluctuate. So that's the foundation, and then I'm a stock picker, so I try to find companies that are that the markets don't like, and they might be really low valued, where I see potential that they could be multi-backers if they make a turnaround, and so also so companies that might someday be in the kind of like foundation long-term portfolio, and that's how I occasionally pick up some companies, and then of course many times I need to admit my mistakes and get rid of some companies. But overall, it has become more passive, and many times the reasoning for picking up a certain company might be very much based on some intuition or it might be that I know some good people that I trust in the company's management, yeah. and that might be the catalyst to purchase the stock and so on.
So there can be various reasons why you pick a stock, basically.
Yeah. It's not like a mechanical process. Yeah. It's like I'm a human being myself. And it needs to have. There's an emotion attached to it. It needs to have. I want to have the feeling of owning a company, and being a part of the story of where that company is going. Of course, as a former analyst, I do look at the multiples and other metrics, but it also needs to have the narrative that I can relate to.
Makes sense. It needs to be fun as well.
It needs to be fun. Yeah.
Well, then if we go to your portfolio, at least your biggest positions have been Remedy, QT Group, Revenio and Gofore. Has there been any changes, or are you still in those positions?
Yeah, these are companies that I've been owning and holding for really long term. I mean, Revenio, for example, over a decade, and haven't done any changes over the last 12 months at least. And of course, if you see that these 4 companies are my biggest holdings by far in the portfolio, you can see that I haven't been very successful in the last 12 months, obviously. But I don't mind. I mean, for me, it's more important where the company is going and how the company is developing than where the share price right now is. I mean, if you take a decade perspective, then the share price goes up and down. It's more important how the business develops, and that's what I put more focus on. And if it goes really low value, then I might add some more stocks to my position. But of course, you need to be at the same time. You need to be critical in your own thinking that don't stick to that being the truth that, for example, a Revenio Group is a quality company. Mm-hmm. That might change over time. So you need to also challenge that you don't become blind. That these are high quality companies. I can just hold them. That might change, of course, over time. So you need to keep close eye on how the narrative of the company develops and how the business performs. Yeah. Luckily, I have the analyst team here working, so I can always go talk to them and on these companies and also to get new ideas.
Yeah, that's true. Well, then talking about new ideas, you have a few new positions in your portfolio. You have purchased Aallon Group, Loihde and WithSecure, so we could talk about those a little bit. So first of all, Aallon Group, at least as an accounting firm, it works in a pretty defensive sector, but what made you especially want to buy Aallon Group?
Yeah, I mean that sector has so good elements from investing perspective. It has growth, it's defensive, it's not very competed, a lot of consolidation potential, recurring revenue streams, high margins. I mean, it's just very attractive as a market, and I've been curious about Aallon Group for a long time. Based on our analyst research, and what made me do the actual purchase was that in one event I met their CEO and we had a chat together. We didn't talk about their business or anything. We just had a chat about the industry overall and got to know each other. And then it felt like, well, I wanna be part of the story, yeah. and that was actually what made me do the purchase. So it can be things like these that actually trigger me to make a purchase, which is I mean it's fun. There's something you can relate to in that company. You know some person there or something like that, and I think that's really important in investing overall.
Yeah, agreed. Well, then secondly, you bought WithSecure. At least the growth of the company has slowed down a little bit and there's competition in the field that is tightening. So what makes you believe in WithSecure as an investment?
Yeah, like 10 years ago, I used to cover this company called Comptel. That was a huge success as a turnaround case. It went from 0.5 euros to 3.5 or something at the end when it was acquired by Nokia. So hugely successful turnaround story, Comptel, and how WithSecure is related to Comptel is that Comptel had a really strong management team that made the turnaround happen. And now many of those people who worked in that team are now working at WithSecure, most namely the CEO. So for me, it's kind of like I trust the team there. I don't know much about the business and the markets, but it's just I want to have a small ticket to see how that can that team make it happen again. And of course, if you look at the basic valuation multiples, right now it doesn't look good, but if they can do it again, there's a potential for a multi-backer stock. But you need to take really like 5+ years perspective in this. But I have the time to wait.
Yeah, it sounds like an exciting story to follow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, then thirdly, you've bought Loihde. At least the company is having some challenges when it comes to profitability. So what made you buy Loihde?
It's quite simple. It's in the IT consulting sector. I own many companies in that sector. low valuation multiples, lower profitability than the peer group. If they are able to improve their profitability and growth closer to the peer group, and you look at how the multiples would probably react in that scenario, you can calculate out fairly attractive risk-reward ratio on that one. I bought it in December last year, and actually they came out with a positive profit warning right after it. So I was like, yeah, finally I made in this terrible market I made a good stock pick. But yeah, that was. It's also part of my strategy of owning the IT consulting, IT services sector as a whole. I think that's a great sector to be in on the long run. Even though right now in that sector as well, it's quite hard times.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. It's about the long term, right?
Yeah.
So now we have talked about buys. So next, let's go to sells. So there has been multiple positions that you have sold since our last update. So you have sold Tecnotree, Rapala, and HelloFresh. So what were the reasons behind these sales?
Admitting my own mistakes briefly.
Yeah.
I think both in Rapala and Tecnotree, my initial investment case was that these are turnaround companies that are becoming great companies with good longer term performance, but that proved out to be wrong. Both had a good looking turnaround, but it didn't continue that way, and basically I just cut my losses and admitted my mistakes. In HelloFresh, well, I got excited about that story way back. Didn't do my research really well. It was a COVID winner, the company, and my initial case of this being like really attractive, scalable, global platform business with all those fancy, sexy words didn't go. It proved out to be a bit different, and I really didn't have the energy to cover that company because it's a German company and not in our research team coverage. So then I just admitted my mistake and cut the losses and focused my energy back to actually those companies that Inderes covers. I don't have any shareholdings outside Inderes coverage right now.
Yeah. Okay.
It gives me comfort to own companies where we have coverage because, and I think the risk for me is also lower because if we have coverage, I don't need to bear the risk of owning something that I don't understand enough. If it's in our coverage, I feel the risk level is lower because then I actually I know more about what I'm actually investing in.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Okay, that's our update. Thanks so much, Mikael, for the answers, and thank you all for watching. Remember to subscribe to our channel and give our video a thumbs up. We'll see you again in other videos. In the meanwhile, we hope you enjoy reading analysis and make good investing decisions.